stayed down that time. She went.
Oh, there she is, right back there, Kyle. Yep, back up. Yep. There she is, right here. Hey everybody, welcome to our show this week. We have got an exciting show. We decided to leave the bows and the guns at home, and we're going to head up to Green Bay and fish with Brett Alexander and his partner Kyle for a little musky / walleye fishing. These guys are very, very knowledgeable, and they're on a great bite, so you definitely want to check this week's show out. Let's talk a little bit real quick about the musky fishing here. I mean, you guys probably run more musky trips out here than anybody and been doing it a long time. What have you seen over the last, let's just say the last 6 to 10 years as far as numbers and size of fish?
I'll tell you, Larry, it's one of the best trophy musky fisheries in the world. I think it's the top 3 at least.
Okay.
But we weren't really top heavy on big fish. Like 3 years ago, I think we peaked out, and it's starting to slowly decline for big fish. But we got a lot of this size fish, those like 38 to 43, 44 inch fish.
So the future is very bright.
Looks really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nice job. Real nice.
Yeah, he cracked that.
That's a pretty fish. That's got to be cool, just the way they crack that bait, huh?
Oh yeah, he hit it hard. You ready?
Yep. I'm ready when you're ready. That is a pretty fish. Nice job. Nice.
Not a bad start.
Very cool. And just kind of twitching that bait real slow.
Yep, just real slow. I twitched it a couple times, paused it, right on the paw, she cracked it.
Wow. Like a torpedo. That was cool. You know what? I've been guiding full time for over 30 years now. It is a very tough way to make a living. It's one of them kind of businesses that if you're not really passionate about it, it makes every day a little bit tougher. But when you are passionate about it, it's something that you wake up and don't even think twice about and coming out and fishing.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're absolutely right. I think it's one of the toughest jobs in the world. I mean, you have to bust your butt, and it's grueling hours. And
Conditions of weather
are horrible a lot of days.
4 o'clock every morning for months on end.
Right. There's a lot of, I guess what I'm trying to get at to Kyle and Brett is that, you know what, there's a lot of other ways a guy can make a really good living working a lot less and a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, it's a passion thing. So, I mean, the reason that I really wanted to come out today and fish with you guys is obviously you're on a really good bite. You guys are great fishermen, but it's more so about the story about how you have to be passionate about the outdoors, passionate about people, and just the surroundings around you. And Brett, this is kind of something I'm going to ask you. And years ago, there was a handful of guides up in this area. Now it's just like I can't even tell you how many guides there is. So I mean, you look at the competition, there's a lot more competition out there too nowadays. And so what do you think about all that?
Yeah, it's something you think about every day, and you're absolutely right. There's, from when I started guiding about 17 years ago till now, there's probably 50 times more guys guiding on Green Bay. I can remember back in the day when it was you, me, Stroshine, and a couple other guys.
Right.
We had the whole bay to ourselves, and now you see a lot of part-time guides out there. So you just got to stay on top of your game, and I think guys like us, like yourself and Kyle and me, we love it. It's in our blood, and you'll see a lot of these guys weed out because they can't keep up with the pace.
Right.
So.
Nice job. Interesting how things change all the time. And that's probably the key to being a successful guide, is not to get hung up on one thing and constantly changing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta stay on your game, like I said earlier. It's just networking. I got, Kyle and a couple other guys that work for me now.
Yep.
And we network with our group and a bunch of other guides, and that just helps out so much when you got multiple people on the water.
Makes a lot of sense. A lot of knowledge going through there.
Yep.
I'm not 100% sure what this one is.
Again, just twitching. Nice fish.
Nice little butterball. How are they?
They are fat.
Oh yeah, they're eating good, just
Nice to
gorging
see them
themselves.
good pods of bait.
Yeah, good to see these fish in here.
Once you unhook that fish, Brett, let's show me in the water, pull your rod, how slow you're actually moving that bait, because it's making a huge difference.
Let's throw it right here in front and show you how slow I'm up.
That's it.
So that's like barely moving.
Right.
When
That
you go
is.
that slow, it'll sink actually. This lure will sink down deeper.
Okay.
You get a little more depth out of it. I think they're just right now they're lazy and tight to that bottom. You gotta get it right in front of their face.
No doubt, you have that dialed in. All right, let me slow it down even some more. Ooh, another nice fish. Hey Brad, I'll tell you, I finally hooked up and I was watching you like a hawk and just twitching the same way. Finally, I got whacked. It is amazing how precise you gotta be. Not a muskie, but a very nice fish. I'll tell you what, I mean, I have made so many casts and just could not get that down. So I was watching Brett and just how precise you had to be with the twitch. And finally, I got it to connect. Now we'll see if it was just luck or if I'm getting a little bit better at that pattern. It is a fat fish right there. I can't believe, you know, I used to always think that just the males came up in the fall into the rivers here, but no doubt that's a nice female. I'm gonna get her back in the water. Out of here. All right, I'm on the board finally. Your fingers aren't froze yet?
They're getting there.
They're numb at least. Decent fish. Got him. Nice job.
And that one I wasn't even really sure it was a fish, and I kind of hesitated on jerking. I felt a little extra weight, and I kind of gave it again, but.
Ooh, nice fish, Kyle.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. Again, nice females.
Yeah. Can't complain there.
No, the
That's
build on these
beautiful
fish
fish.
is awesome. So Kyle, tell us a little bit more about that. So it's not really just the fishing that you like to do. You like to do some hunting too, huh?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. I used to guide for bear and stuff in northern Wisconsin, and outdoors
Anything that's got to do as long as you're outside, huh?
yeah. My dad's got videos of me when I was little drooling in deer tracks, and I've pretty much been outside, never had an indoor job, so
That's
that's
awesome.
all I know.
And you like to bow hunt too, huh?
Oh yeah, big bull hunter.
Yep, that's one of my
Like-
passions too.
Yep, I just got back from Illinois, so be going on another hunt here at the end of the week, so.
Nothing wrong with that. This time of year goes by way too fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, in August, if April, August, and November lasted all year long, I'd be the happiest guy.
I wouldn't disagree with that one bit. Boy, I'll tell you, bro, that rod is cranked back pretty good.
Yeah, he slammed it.
Just that twitch. Boy, that's definitely going to be a decent fish.
Yeah, he's staying down too.
That's going to be a good one. Woo-hoo-hoo, Brett. Excellent. Gotta love it. Oh, yeah. There's some pure power there. Oh, man. Well, it's working for sure. Boy. And he really just T-boned that bait, huh?
Yeah.
Just, that's the cool part. Oh, nice fish. Nothing wrong with that.
I love these muskies. They're so hard to catch that when it happens, you just get that huge adrenaline rush because you put in, some days you go 10, 12 hours without a bite.
Right.
You know, and then you get nights like tonight where you whack two of them in an hour.
Yeah, that's it. That's amazing. Like you said, this is no doubt a world-class fishery for muskies.
What I like to do, Larry, when releasing them,
Okay.
is just hold them. You know, I see a lot of people pumping them back and forth.
And that's a no-no.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You know when they're ready.
Yeah.
Right. Good job.
They'll let you know when they're ready.
That is awesome. Hey everybody, welcome to our Leroy lunch break, and today we've got the shotgun chef in the boat here, and he's got the big green egg, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna be cooking some of these marinated ribeyes from Leroy Meats, and I'll tell you, these things are absolutely awesome. You definitely want to stop by there in Horicon or in Fox Lake and check out all the great things they have going on, and maybe talk to Randy, Steve, and Scott over there. Hey, Schaefer, you want to whip these things up on there? Because last time we threw some stuff on the grill, you know what? The ducks started coming. So I'm going to throw you some ribeyes up here.
might have stayed down that time. She went.
Oh, there she is, right back there, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, back up. Yep. Keep going, Brett. There she is, right here. Right out in front. You can't get down. Oh. Hey, Brett, now here's a perfect example of, you know, a fish that wasn't handled quite properly and by some people that were fishing not too far from us, and she was on the top of the surface and would not go back down. So let's tell everybody at home what's going on.
All right, Larry, what happened is there was a boat just up from us that caught this fish. Kept it in the boat way too long.
Even in this cold water.
Even in the cold water. They had it in the boat for probably, I would say 4 or 5 minutes
Okay.
at least. And they dropped her once, which is always bad for a big fish like this.
Right.
And then then they put it on the scale, held her vertical, which you
And
never
that's,
want to do.
no.
with a big
And let's
fish.
tell everybody why you don't go vertical with a big fish, Brett.
Basically, a heavy fish, what'll happen if you hold it vertical, there's so much weight inside their stomach and everything that it tears stuff inside. So you got to support that belly.
Okay.
You want to hold them horizontal and never straight up and down. That's pretty much old school. But a lot of guys, these guys are walleye fishing.
Right, they don't
and
know.
They don't know any better.
It's not
so
like
we're-
they're doing anything intentionally.
Right, and then what they did is after they waited, he just flopped it in the water and never revived
Okay.
it. So this fish was swimming up top, probably going to die. So we got it in our hands now. We're going to try to revive it and see if we can get her to go.
Okay, so what's the key now as far as trying to revive this
So
fish?
now she's just sitting and relaxing straight up in the net. We're going to take her out of the net and I'm going to hold her,
Okay.
make sure she can self-support. And when she's got enough energy, she'll kick down and go down. Then we'll watch, make sure she doesn't come back
Okay,
up.
sounds great.
Yeah, she's better already. Whoa. She got a tag in her.
And a transmitter.
And a transmitter, yeah.
Let's
Oh.
show everybody. Can we? Oh, she's full of.
Yeah, see the wire, Larry?
Yeah.
She's got one of our transmitters in.
Okay.
So she's got a tracking device in her.
So when anybody catches a fish like that, they see that. That's what that is.
Absolutely.
Right.
We were part of that study. They would actually follow us around, and as we'd catch fish, they'd come and take them and do a surgery on the fish and put those transmitters in.
That is awesome. Just so they can do all the studies on them and
Yeah.
try to figure out the patterns on them. Migration.
Yeah, they're doing migration, seeing where they're going during certain parts of the year where they're wintering. It's a nice fish. It's kind of on the skinny side. It's got a big head.
Right.
I would say about 49 inches.
That's a great fish.
It's doing a lot better already. You can see her wanting to take off. See it?
I see that.
Now watch what I'm going to do. What I'll do is I'll twist them sideways.
Okay,
And
so
if
you're-
they kick right back.
Yep.
There she goes. Watch her now. Make sure she stays down. Another thing that'll happen sometimes if you catch one in really deep water, they can get air inside their stomach.
Right.
And you actually, if you massage their stomach, keep their head underwater, you
You're
see the
working
bubbles.
working that arrow.
Yeah, just push it out.
Another great tip. Hey Brett, let's talk a little bit about, the amount of muskies that you catch and the amount of days that you spend out here. Let's talk a little bit about some practices. So these fish, we know we keep this a great fishery, and how people should actually handle these fish.
Big mistake I see a lot of people do is not have the right tools when they're musky fishing. One of the most important things to have is a musky net.
Okay.
So a big enough net.
A coated net?
A coated net, yeah.
Okay.
Rubber coated is the best for their skin. I see a lot of guys with butterfly nets, salmon nets. You gotta remember, muskies have a protective slime on them. So you wanna try to keep that slime on their body.
Okay.
And not rub it off on your nets and on your carpet and
Right.
everything else. And then another thing that's critical is have a good hook cutters. I like Nimpex cutters are the best.
Okay.
They're a little pricey, but it's worth it. You know, you can cut the hooks. You'll save a fish life, so you can cut the hooks out of it. Have a
Good.
long needle nose pliers, so you can get when they got it way down in there.
Reach down in there.
Reach down in there and get it out without hurting them. Another little trick that I've learned throughout the years is if you get one that bleeds, because sometimes you'll nick those gills and they'll start bleeding. What I do is I quick flip them upside down in the net, and I grab a carbonated soda. You dump it right down in their gills, and it'll coagulate that blood and stop bleeding right
A
away.
carbonated soda. Now,
Yeah.
that is something I had no clue on. That's a great tip.
So I actually told Kyle that, and you've had a few fish that you saved.
I had a 54 this spring that I had to do that too.
Okay.
Stopped it instantly.
Wow, that's a cool. How did you ever figure that out?
Actually, Chris Barch told me about that. So
right.
I'm not taking credit for
Right.
that one, but Chris told me about that years ago, and I tried it, and it worked great.
That's
so.
awesome. How about as far as once the fish, you put them back in the water? I see a lot of guys, Brett, just throw them back in, you know. I kind of like to stop the boat, you know, most of the time and try to get that fish, revive them.
What I like to do if it's rough out, you want to be really cautious because it messes up their equilibrium.
Okay.
And they're really fragile then. So if you can get in a calmer area, they flip back up and can self-support, then they're fine.
Okay.
But if they don't, then they're in trouble. That's usually what I do is I call one of the wardens, say, hey, I got a fish in trouble. It's not a legal size. Can I put it in my live well?
That's a good tip too.
And go into calmer
Good
water
information. Okay.
and revive it. So I've done that numerous times, and that helps a lot when you can get out of the big waves.
That's a great tip.
And then just take your time when you're reviving them. You know, the fish will tell you when she's ready. Like I said, one of the things I do is just flip them sideways. If they kick back, they're ready to rock and roll. Let them swim away, and then I sit there usually for about 5 minutes, make sure they don't come back up.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yep, a good way to protect them fish for the future for sure. Kyle, you're talking about, and I asked you, you know, what do you think about this fishery? And you said, you know what, I moved a lot closer because of how good the fishing is here.
Yeah, I moved to Green Bay about 6 years ago, just for the fishing. I wanted to become a fishing guide, and this place it's pretty hard to beat. Trophy walleyes, big muskies. Myself, I'm here for the muskies.
Okay.
Walleyes are fun.
You want the big fish, huh?
Oh yeah.
You might want a little more action on the bait, but still working it slow. You know, you can work them jointed ones really slow, but they still have a little bit more action.
Always switching things up, right, Brett? It makes you a good fisher.
I always tell people they never don't bite. You just got to figure out what they want. Oh, walleye.
That baby's digging down. Big. Nice job. Beautiful fish right there. What's up, pal? Another one.
Look at that, the back hook ripped right off.
Oh,
Smacked her
that
hard.
thing really did drill that.
Okay, I got 4 of them.
How precise do you have to be to get these fish to bite?
Yeah, in this cold water, with the cold front conditions, they can get really fussy, and you really got to dial that technique in. This one I was just crawling it super slow.
That's another nice fish too. Look at the build on them fish.
Yeah, they got some big shoulders already for this time of the year.
That is awesome. But again, it's amazing just how little things make such a big difference. Thinking of walleye, huh?
Yep, thinking so.
See what we got here. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nice fish. You know, like I was saying earlier, it's not an easy way to make a living, and you've been doing it a long time. And you know what, let's talk a little bit about that. You know, let's talk about your passion. And you know, the thing is, this is something else that I wouldn't mind asking you about, is that, you know, as a full-time guide and you're fishing all the time, you really, and you have a family too, some kids, right, and a wife.
Yep.
Tell me, how do you deal with that?
Well,
I can tell you how I deal with it, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I'm lucky because my wife is pretty understanding, and I
Right.
think to do what we do, you have to have a very understanding family because it takes so much away from your family.
It certainly does.
You know, and there's a lot of sacrifices to what we do.
Right.
But you know, it's something I love doing, and I don't think I'd trade it for any other job. I was a full-time firefighter, and I quit that to fish full-time. So.
Right. So having a good wife is key.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, an understanding one. And I would say that's exactly the same thing on my end. I often think to myself, why does this lady stay with me? Right.
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 So you just got to find the right one, and
We're very lucky.
luckily I did. I'm going on 25 years.
Not bad. Hold that critter up.
Barely moving it.
some of the great fishing up here on Green Bay, you know, whether it be walleyes, muskies, smallmouth, you know, how can they get a hold of you?
They can either call us on my cell at 920-851-4214, or they can look us up on the website at www.alexandersportfishing.com.
That's awesome, Brett. Thanks again, you and Kyle. We had a great time today out here, and looking forward to the future. Wow, you guys, I'm going to tell you something. I've been guiding full-time for 33 years this year, and I thought I knew a lot. I don't know squat. I'll tell you what, I learned so much stuff this week fishing with Brett and Kyle. What a pure pleasure it was, and a lot of really great information. We want to thank Alexander Sport Fishing for inviting us out on this trip. It was awesome. Hey, you make sure that everybody checks out all of our social media, especially our YouTube channel, because we're constantly putting new shows up there each and every week. And there are a lot of things that we don't put on network that we put on YouTube. So you definitely want to check that out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, again, we want to thank all the firefighters this week for the great job that they do in this country. And remember, like I always say, what a great day it is to be alive. We appreciate you guys tuning in with us. Hey, this week we're gonna let down, why can't I say it? And actually pick back up on the fishing rods, and we're gonna, all right, you got that look on your face.